Okay, our goal for this lesson is to solve rational equations. This is problem number 10 on the worksheet, or our example number 1. So when we solve rational equations, rational means it can be written as a fraction, and you have a variable in your numerator or your denominator. So this is the problem that we're going to solve, but I want us to think about a different problem real quick. So our other problem is if we had something like this, 1/4 x plus 3/7 equals 10. A way to get rid of fractions would be to find the LCD, or the least common denominator, and multiply each of those things by that number. So between 4 and 7, that would be 28. So if I were to take and multiply each thing by that least common denominator, I'll lose my fractions. 4 goes into 4 once, 4 goes into 28 7 times, so I'm left with 7x. 7 goes into 7 once, 7 goes into 28 4 times, and so I have plus 12, and that equals 280. Now, I can solve that one very easily. So that's what we want to do with this particular question. We need to look at each of the denominators, figure out what our factors are, and then multiply by that LCD. So if we have 5x, we have a factor of 5, and we have a factor of x. X, we only have an x, and 5, we only have a 5. So our LCD would be, we need a 5, we need an x. We already have an x, we already have a 5. So that is what we're going to multiply each and everything by. So I'm going to multiply this by 5x, this by 5x, and this by 5x. Remember, it's just 5x over 1. And so now we can cancel. Well, 5x cancels with my 5x, leaving me with 6x minus 18. And my x cancels with my x down here, leaving me with 5 times x squared minus 8x plus 16. My 5 cancels with my 5, leaving me with plus x times x minus 3. Now, at this point, we're going to simplify this, and we are either going to graph it, or we are going to, most likely, we are going to need to probably factor it again, or quadratic formula. So we have 6x minus 18 equals 5x squared minus 40x plus 80 plus x squared minus 3x. So let's simplify this guy a little bit, clean him up. Well, 5x and x squared, 5x squared and x squared is 6x squares. I've got a negative 43x plus my 80. So that takes care of those. And that one. So now I'm going to go ahead and bring everything over to one side. And I just did that in one step. You could do it in two if you wanted to. Minus 49x. And then it would be plus 98. Woo! That's a big one. So what we might want to do is possibly factor that, or quadratic formula. I think I can get some factors to come out of that. If I had, let's see, a 7 times 14 gives me 98. And a 2x and a 3x. Let's see if that works. 28x and 21x gives me 49x. So that works. And now I'm going to set each of those equal to 0 and solve. Now, as with any of these, as soon as we come up with our answer, we need to make sure that that does not make our denominator 0. We have to make sure that it is not an extraneous solution. So I'm getting 14/3, 7/2. I'm going to use curly braces because it's a set of answers, not a coordinate. Now let's look up here. We know that x cannot equal 0, and so that is good. So there's one. Let's do one other one. And we are going to do this one. And let's do this is number 13, or our example number 2, if you don't have a worksheet and you're listening to the video. Actually, let's do 15. We have 1 plus 5x plus 20 over x plus 6. And that's going to equal x squared plus 5x plus 4 over x squared plus 11x plus 30. Now, you could add these two things together and cross multiply, but cross multiplying this is going to give you something very large. So I would recommend going about our other way. So we want to find our LCD. Well, I have 1. It's just 1. X plus 6 is, well, the only factor of that is x plus 6. And we have x squared plus 11x plus 30. So our factors of that one, 30, probably 5 and 6. Oh, that should be a 6 there. All right, so my LCD would have to be x plus 6 and x plus 5. So remember, since it's an equal sign, the others that we did yesterday were adding. It was not equal, so we had to find the common denominator and rewrite equivalent fractions. This is not that case because I have an equal sign, so I'm allowed to multiply everything by that number. So I'm going to multiply each and every one of these by that common denominator. Now, some beautiful things will happen. We'll have some things fall away, and then we go from there. Oh, that should be a x plus 6 times x plus 5. And then we have that big honking fraction. X squared plus 5x plus 4 over x squared plus... Actually, rather than writing a x squared, I already factored it. It's x plus 5 and x plus 6. So we're just going to write it like that. Makes it easier to cancel. All right, nothing cancels out here. So I'm going to go ahead and just multiply that out. I have x squared plus 11x plus 30. My x plus 6 and my x plus 6 cancel. Remember, it's a package deal. So I'm going to have x plus 5 times 5x plus 20. So that's going to give me 5x squared plus 20x, 25x, 45x plus 5 times 20 is 100. And then these all cancel. And I'm left with x squared plus 5x plus 4. Now at this point, you can go ahead and bring it all over to one side and simplify your equation. All right, so I have brought everything to one side. I got 5x squared plus 51x plus 126. I factored that, and then I set each of those factors equal to 0, and I came up with two solutions, negative 21/5 and negative 6. But my problem is negative 6 makes this denominator 0, which is undefined. So we know negative 6 is an extraneous solution. It's one that we found, but it does not work. So my only solution would be negative 21/5. Super important in these that you check and make sure that that does not make a denominator equal to 0.